Well, as I mentioned earlier today, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Turner released a statement calling on President Biden to declassify information about a serious national security threat. Now, speaking to reporters this afternoon, House Speaker Mike Johnson assured there is no need for public alarm. And White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan declined to elaborate on the threat during a White House press briefing earlier this afternoon. So what do we know so far? What briefings have or will be prepared for members of Congress? Joining me here in just a moment is Congressman Mike Waltz of Florida. He serves on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and the House Foreign Affairs Committee. He represents the 6th Congressional District of Florida. Do we have Congressman Waltz? Congressman, welcome back to Washington Watch. Oh, we don't have him just yet. Well, let me bring in our own Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin, retired after 36 and a half years, last 4 years at the Pentagon. General, so this seems a little odd that a member of Congress, chairman of the Intelligence Committee, would say we have information, but then not provide any details.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. In fact, if we don't know what we're looking at, we don't know what it does, and we don't know where it comes from, we've got to stand up and look at ourselves and say, how did it get here? Who built it? Who produced it? Because this is, from my perspective, when we saw that satellite go over America a few months ago.
The balloon?
The balloon.
Right.
Yeah, a few months ago. That opened my eyes after 36 years in this business. That opened my eyes because if you don't know what that is, then you've got something to be afraid of. On the other hand, if you have some general idea what it is and you can mentally dissect it, you may be able to figure it out.
Well, let's go to Congressman Waltz. We have Congressman Waltz joining us, I believe, by phone from the House floor. Congressman, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Sure, Tony. Always happy to be with you.
So we were just discussing this announcement from the chairman of the Intelligence Committee that there is this unknown threat. What can you tell us about this? What do we know so far?
Well, two things, Tony. I mean, first, I want to say, look, there's no need to be diving in your bunker tonight, but it is a very serious and urgent threat. And so two things have occurred. One, the House Intelligence Committee, the chairman, Representative Mike Turner, made a determination that the threat is so significant, again, not imminent tomorrow or this weekend, but is a very significant threat that we need to broaden it out to all the membership. And as you well know, the members on the Intelligence Committee have a very special position of trust. We have access to our most compartmented secrets. And that is, I think, completely normal. If you're on the Agriculture Committee or the Education Committee, you may not need to have that day-to-day access to provide oversight of the intelligence community policies and budget. However, in this case, the threat is so significant, and in my view, would be a geostrategic game changer if it fully materializes, that he made a decision to have all members have access to this intelligence and called upon the administration to work through the process, protect our sources and methods, but to declassify it. Because if the administration does that, I think we will all see that this is a threat of global proportions. And so that's essentially what the chairman announced today. I will also share with you his frustration. He has sent multiple classified letters to the administration asking them to come meet with us, inform us of their strategy to deal with this. And they haven't done so. Fortunately, now it looks like we're going to have what's called a Gang of Eight meeting, the leadership of both the House, the Senate, and the Intelligence Committees tomorrow. And I hope out of that we see that the administration is not only taking this seriously, but putting strategies in place to deal with it.
So, Congressman Waltz, was there some new information that came forth today or in the last week that triggered this new level of alarm, or is this something they've just been dragging their feet, not responding?
Well, as you know, Tony, that there are things that I'm gonna word this carefully. There are things that we have insight to through our amazing intelligence community, and then additional pieces of the puzzle come into place that takes things. I mean, just generally speaking, things can be low confidence, high confidence. So there were some pieces of the puzzle that have fallen into place, but I think of equal concern was the lack of information and the lack of response from the administration to the chairman. And at the same time, he felt an obligation to broaden this to all of our members. Again, they're not declassifying it, although we're calling on the administration to do so. It's to invite them, all of the membership of the House, both sides of the aisle, down to the compartmented facilities and apprise them of this information.
Congressman Waltz, I know it's classified information, so I know you're being very careful what you say here. Mm-hmm. But when we look at how this administration has dealt with, let's say, our national security at our southern border, I mean, we just had the impeachment of the Homeland Security Secretary last night. Is it your opinion that the administration is or is not taking this threat that is known to the intelligence community seriously?
Well, that, I think, it remains to be seen. But we have an oversight role, and what is unacceptable is just to not respond to our inquiries.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. I will say, more generally speaking, I think it's safe to say, from the spy balloon incident to our disastrous Iran policy to sitting on our hands and allowing the Houthis to use our ships as target practice, I think generally speaking, there's a real lack of confidence in the leadership and the policy decisions and judgment of this White House. So, when you have a serious matter that you're not getting responses, there's a real lack of confidence there.
Congressman, I know you're in the series of votes. If you have to go, just let me know. But I have another question for you. This comes at the time when the House is actually grappling with the reauthorization of FISA, which has been somewhat controversial. Does this intelligence at all play into that debate?
Well, I'll just say, generally speaking, Tony, that it's actually the 702 provision, and not to get too wonky, it's a specific provision of FISA. Right. Not the entire FISA program, but it's this provision that allows us to surveil foreigners. It is critical to a whole smorgasbord of things that we know, from fentanyl to the cartels to our adversaries, China, Russia, and Ukraine. Terrorist activity here in the United States. I'll tell you just right out the gate, we cannot allow this provision to die or go dark. Now, point one. Point two is FISA needs to be reformed, and this reauthorization is an opportunity to do that. Essentially, the abuses of the process as it pertained to President Trump, the Steele dossier, the relying on media reports as evidentiary factors in getting a FISA warrant, all of those things need to be reformed, and this bill would do that. There are still some details that we are frankly debating and negotiating, but two things I don't want to see happen is, one, the program, the 702 program, to just lapse. That would be incredibly dangerous to our national security. And two, another clean reauthorization that doesn't put these reforms in place. So
we should be able to do both.
We just got to get our work done. Yes.
All right, Congressman Mike Waltz.
And we will, because there's few things we do here that literally mean life or death.
Yeah.
And doing this program the right way is one of them.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to step off the floor to join us. Look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.